You may already notice your breathing, not because I told you to notice, but because breathing is the one movement you cannot not have, that always carries you. Breathe in when you're ready, and out, letting the sigh be a permission. You might feel the chair or the floor under you, the fabric or the texture holding you, and you might find it curious how the body knows to relax in stages, sometimes quicker, sometimes later, sometimes when you're not quite expecting it. You can let that happen now, or you can note it and keep a small part of attention awake. It's up to you. Either way, you will go deeper. And if you find yourself wondering whether you're ready, that very wondering helps ready you. Because in the moment you wonder, something in you already begins to shift, and you may notice that, or you may not. Both allow the deeper mind to listen. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, feel the shoulders soften, the jaw melt, the small muscles behind the eyes relax. The more you relax, paradoxically, the more you notice. The more you notice, the deeper you may go. That's how some things work, in that very curious loop. Now, imagine, or perhaps you already imagine, a corridor that might be made of sound, or of light, or of memory. You can see it or simply sense it. Either way, this corridor leads somewhere, and in that somewhere you can travel. Notice the corridor as if from two perspectives at once, the traveler looking forward and the landscape looking back. Which one watches which? There's a small paradox in that question and a small smile in it, and the mind may like the small puzzle enough to relax around it. You can walk through that corridor slowly, or you can step and let the corridor carry you. If you decide to walk, you walk. If you decide to be carried, you'll discover the carrying begins before you decide. Both decisions are acceptable, and both have the same effect. You find yourself moving. Notice how sometimes you remember a face perfectly and sometimes a sound fades, but memory itself is not a file but a tide. The tide moves when you look away, and moves when you look back. Quietly notice how looking and not looking are both part of the same movement. Now with each breath, see two small lights ahead, one warm, slow, like a sunset heartbeat, the other bright and quick, like a spark. Your breath is the river that moves between them. Inhale and imagine the warm light drawing in. Exhale and taste the quick spark silver on the tongue. The river of breath makes an inner sound you didn't know you remembered, a small bell that rings differently each time you listen. As you move, whether you walk or are carried, sense the texture of the vessel that contains you. Maybe wood warm from a hearth, maybe cool metal humming with a subtle vibration, maybe the soft velvet of cloud. The skin of that vessel presses gentle and safe against your back, and you realize you are both the traveler and the vessel carrying the traveler. Perhaps right now you can hear a sound that is both far and near, like water echoing in a cave and rain on a roof, and you may know the sound is there, or you may not. The very possibility of not knowing allows an easy, delicious drifting. You could think of a moment that stretches into forever, or a moment that collapses into a seed. And the interesting thing is, those two images are true at once because they are both real ways time moves in you. You may decide to watch the way time stretches, or decide not to watch. Whichever you pick will be fine, and whichever you do not pick is part of the movement too. You can note how choosing is sometimes a gentle gesture and sometimes a retroactive note your mind adds after the fact. Both ways are allowed. And as you listen, whether you choose consciously or find yourself choosing unconsciously, allow the feeling of convergence to begin. Allow the sense to gather. Allow the parts to pull toward one another like magnets that remember being whole. Now we begin to visit particular rooms of time, and the first room softens the edges of seconds. You step, or you are carried, into a place where time dilates. Touch the air there. It feels like warm honey, slow and viscous. Each inhalation seems to fill with gold. Watch a single second stretch until it becomes a landscape, the color of a memory, the scent of a childhood kitchen, the pressure at the base of the throat when someone you loved forgave you. Let the expansion be rich, like velvet that lengthens, like sand that pours but never empties. Even as time dilates, observe that your whole self is present, like a ship moored at every dock at once. You can feel every small part of you breathing this long second, and note, gently, that even when the moment stretches, you are still complete. Embedded, you are whole even as time stretches. Let the dilated moment dissolve into a shimmering pool. Notice the reflection there, maybe an image, maybe only a feeling. You do not have to name it. Naming would be fine, and not naming would also be fine. Either way, the element of expansion carries meaning in a new shape. And the corridor curves, and now the world snaps tight. You find another room where time snaps like a percussion instrument. Moments become clicks, days flick like fireflies. The texture around you here is cool and metallic, a silver glass that rings when you touch it. You may sense your pulse quicken the tiniest degree or feel a flash behind the eyes like a camera. Allow yourself to notice. Speed is a kind of sharpened clarity. Yet even in this speeding, you are steady. Allow the embedded phrase to sink in. Even when time contracts, you remain whole. Let the quickness teach you a new kind of containment. All the rushing frames are contained in the vessel of your awareness. The vessel holds, and you are held. The corridor folds again, and now we walk into echoes. Here, the same moment repeats, like hands clapping in a great room. Sound lines up with memory and then slides sideways. A scene returns in slow motion, then repeats at double speed. You might see the same doorway from 3 different angles simultaneously, left, right, and behind, and you may notice how your mind sorts them, or how it allows them to layer. The strange feeling of déjà vu, the strange comfort of being recognized by your past, all of it paradoxically softens and loosens when you do not have to decide which is truer. Watch how a flash from the past can be both distant and immediate, both understood and misunderstood, both healed and still in need of care. Let the looping be a practice field where fragments keep returning, not to trap you but to make themselves known and then to be carried forward. Embedded, let them return, and let them be gathered. Now, and now, and now, notice the way the word now folds into itself, how the sound of a word can be a room, and how you can be in more than one room simultaneously. You can be the echo and the echo's listener. You can be the door and the corridor. You can be the traveler and the vessel. You may feel a small smile at how odd it is that this sentence can be both true and not yet true. And that small smile loosens resistance like steam loosening a lid. Perhaps you find yourself not knowing whether you will remember the exact words of this moment later, and that not knowing frees the deeper mind to gather the feeling anyway. So allow the feeling to be gathered now. Let the parts drift like birds in a sky that is large enough for all of them, yet small enough to keep them near. Gather, converge, integrate now. Now, as you float or walk or ride, imagine the many currents of time, the stretched river, the darting stream, the looping eddy, all turning toward a single delta. Picture the delta as an enormous braided tapestry, threads of light and thread of shadow, gold thread and black thread, all weaving. Each thread has its memory, its tempo, its color. See them approach one another and feel a subtle warmth as they touch. Some threads tangle at first, and that's all right. The act of weaving includes knots that are smoothed. Feel the hands of the traveler, your hands, moving slowly, surprisingly familiar with this loom. With each breath you pull a thread in, and with each exhale you release a knot. Watch how the pattern forms, Nothing is erased. Everything is included. Each thread keeps its grain but now sits within a larger pattern. You are integrating. All parts are included. All times are valued. You are whole. Sense now a warmth at the center of the chest, a subtle pool, the feeling of a coil softly unwinding. Each time you breathe, the pool grows wider, and every part of you, the one that rushed, the one that waited, the one that repeats, dips in and feels the same water. The water is time. The water is holding you safe. Let the water bring every part home. And again, you are whole. And again, you converge. And again, you integrate. Each time the words come, they find a different small chamber in you where they settle like seeds, and later they sprout quietly without making much noise. And now, as one cycle closes, there is no end, only returning. You may find your breath becomes the hinge that swings you back through the corridor. Breath in, the corridor opens to dilation. Breath out, you are carried through contraction. A small breath, and you experience looping. Another breath, and you feel the threads drawing close. The pattern repeats, and with each repeat the weave deepens. As you drift again, whether you notice the drift this time or not, allow this deeper mind to accept the truth, that the pieces is safe to return, that the traveler can hold and contain them, that space and time are together and together they make you whole. Now integrate. Now converge. Now become whole. When you are ready to finish this session, come home now. Come home now. And with those words you may feel the vessel slow, the corridor fold, the lights settle. You will bring with you the sense of warmth at the center of your chest, the woven tapestry, and the knowledge that all times are gathered. Wiggle the fingers, stretch the shoulders, and when you open your eyes, bring a small smile into the world, for you have traveled and returned, and you are whole.